Hello and welcome to this video tutorial. In this video, I will show you how to install and configure PPOS. Before I show you how to install PPOS, I first want to show you how PPOS makes use of a slip printer. PPOS is designed to use a standard generic text-only printer that comes with all versions of Windows. So if you plan on using a slip printer, install your slip printer and the generic text-only printer. Then set the port of the generic text-only printer to the same as your slip printer. Then set the generic text-only printer as your default printer. If you have any problems with the installation and configuration of the generic text-only printer, feel free to ask your local IT provider to help you out. First, I'm going to show you how to install PPOS on a single device. So to get started, locate your PPOS installation file. It will be either PPOS 3 RS install for the retail solution or PPOS 3 SS install for the server solution. Double-click on the installation file to open it. Click Yes if you're asked to run the program. Click Next on the welcome screen. Read through the End User License Agreement, and if you accept the agreement, click on the Yes, I accept option and then click on the Next button. You will now be asked where PPOS should be installed. Accept the default destination and click on the Next button to begin the installation. It will now take some time to complete, depending on the speed of your device and whether the .NET Framework 4 is already installed on your device. We will skip ahead to the end of the installation. You can now click on the Finish button and PPOS will launch automatically. After the installation, a message may pop up saying that you need to install the .NET Framework before you can run the program. All you need to do then is to close the message and restart your device. Then double-click on the PPOS icon to launch the program. You are now presented with a welcome screen. The next step is to configure PPOS, so click on the Next button to begin. PPOS will now start and connect to the local database. Please note that some antivirus programs might block the database, so just check its firewall settings and try again. On slower PCs, you might get a screen telling you that PPOS could not connect and that the database is probably still starting up. You can just click on the Retry button. After a successful connection, a clean database will be created for you, which will only take a moment to complete. After that, you will be taken to the Company Setup screen. This screen will be used to configure your business or company. If you have more than one business that you want to add, you can always do so at a later stage. Adding more companies will be covered in a separate video tutorial. The first screen in the Company Setup window is where you supply your business or company details. The name field is the name of your business that must appear on your invoices and reports. The email address, and registration number fields are optional and will appear on your invoices if specified here. The VAT number field needs some explanation. If you supply your VAT number here, it will tell PPOS that you are registered for VAT. It will then show a VAT amount on your invoices and documents. So if you're not registered for VAT, simply leave the field blank. The current VAT rate field is the value of the percentage VAT which you are allowed to charge. The Financial Year Start In field tells PPOS what the starting month is when displaying charts and graphs. So if you choose February, then the graphs will start in March of this year and end in February of the next year. The contact numbers and banking details are optional and will be displayed on your invoices. The default doc size button allows you to configure your A4 document, like choosing a style or logo, and also to set your default document size by choosing between the A4 size and 80mm slip roll. Please note that the slip option will print only text and no logos on the slip printer. You can only add your logo to an A4 document. Let's first modify the A4 document by adding your business logo. The A4 documents are designed to accommodate a rectangular logo rather than a square logo. A square logo might display too small on the document as desired. To add a logo, click on the Choose a Logo button. To remove your logo from the document, just click on the Clear Logo button. If you don't have a logo, you can choose from many header templates called styles. Simply click on the Choose a Style button. A window will slide out from the right so that you can browse through the available styles. When you have found the one that you like, click on the image of the style to select it. Your A4 preview will show you how your document will look like. To remove the style and revert back to the default template, click on the Clear Style button, and your A4 preview will reflect the change. The last option on the company setup screen is the color theme buttons. These buttons allow you to change the overall background color of PPOS to create a different look. Apart from being a personal color preference, this feature is also useful to set the background theme of each of your companies. This helps when switching between companies to indicate in a visual manner which company you are now working on. Next on the left of the company setup window is the Sales Options button. Let's explain these options. First up is the Selling Under Cost options. You can tell PPOS how to respond when a user is trying to sell items for a price which is lower than what you paid for. The first option will do nothing and allow the user to continue. The second option will only warn the user but still allow him to continue. The last option will warn and prevent the user from selling this item. Next is the Selling Over Available Quantity options. You can tell PPOS how to respond when a user is trying to sell more items than are currently available. The first option will do nothing and allow the user to continue. The second option will warn the user but still allow him to continue. And the last option will warn and prevent the user from selling this quantity. Next is the Show My Selling Prices option. Here you choose to show the unit prices to either include or exclude VAT. This will also reflect on your invoices. The default transaction type options allow you to choose the first screen that you will see when you open sales. If you do more cash invoices than account invoices, then choose Cash Invoice. So when sales starts, it will automatically go to the cash invoice screen. The same goes for the account invoice option. This will automatically take you to the account invoice screen. If you do a bit of all the transaction types, or if you're new to PPOS, we recommend that you leave it on the Let Me Choose option. You can always change it later. Next is the After Adding an Item to the Sales Grid option. Here is where you tell PPOS on which column to put focus after you have scanned or selected an item. Use the Go to a New Line option to go to a new line directly below the item you have just added. Use the Go to Quantity column option to go to the quantity column after adding an item to the grid. And finally use the Go to the Price column option to go to the Price column after adding an item to the grid. Next up is the default slip notes for your invoices and quotations. They will appear on the sales screen and can be edited on the sales screen per transaction basis if needed. The transaction slip options allow you to set up the following per transaction. How many documents must be printed after the transaction was created? What printer to print the document to? What slip size to use of the two available sizes? And what to do after the transaction you can choose between the following options: do nothing, print document. This will print the document you specified to the printer you specified. Email document will show a screen so you can email the document to the client. Save document as PDF will save the document in the export folder of PPOS. You can combine options by using the then option, so that you can, for example, print the document and email it. Next up is the payout reasons. You can use payouts in two ways. Use it to record the money that you take out of the cash drawer to pay for something, or use it to record normal business expenses. Payout transactions are shown in both the cash up report and the transactions other report. The custom field options allow you to record additional information per transaction in a standard way. For example, your business deals a lot with clients that must record an order number on their invoices. You can then type order number in a custom field so that you can record the client's order number during the transaction. This will then show on the client's invoice when printed. You have up to 6 custom fields as needed. The quantity decimal option tells PPOS how your quantities will be displayed during a transaction or when printed on an invoice or report. For example, you sell 1.5 of an item, then choose a value of 1, PPOS will now allow 1 decimal in the quantity column, so that you can specify a value of 1.5. The price override password option is handy in a multi-user environment where the current user is not allowed to change an item's selling price, and there is an occasion where you as a manager need to override the current selling price. The selling price in the sales grid can then only be changed by using this password. Next is the cash-related rounding options. You can tell PPOS how to round off prices as you sell them during a cash invoice. For example, a value of 5 will round the unit prices off to the nearest 5 cents, where a value of 0 will perform no rounding. The default module names allow you to change the names of these 2 modules. I will show you 2 examples. They are, when you are most familiar with the word estimate, then the word quotation. Or if you are not using pro forma invoices and would rather name it sales orders. Whatever you change the names to will then be reflected on the documents and reports. The last option is the price embedded prefix. This is useful, for example, if you have a butchery where a scale prints out a barcoded label and the barcode starts with a 2. You then choose 2 from the list, and when you sell this item, PPOS will extract the quantity, or the weight in this case, and unit price, or price per kilogram in this case, from the barcode and display it on the sales screen. The item's code is normally the first 7 digits of the barcode. The next button on the left is called Purchase Options. Here you will be able to specify options relevant to the Purchases module. You will notice that the options look and behave similar to the sales options. I will therefore not cover them in detail here. The next button is the Items Options button. Here you can specify how the label generator part of the Items module should behave. You can specify where to print the labels to, what label template to use, and what to include on the label. The next button on the left is called Payment Methods. You can specify the different ways that your clients can pay for the items that they purchased from you. These methods will be used, for example, when you are creating a cash invoice to specify how the client paid for his items. It will then also make it easier when you print a cash up report at the end of the day to group the cash and credit card transactions. The next button is your email settings. By specifying these settings, you will be able to email your clients invoices, quotations, or statements directly from PPOS. Just choose the type of email provider you use from the list and provide the rest of the details. Normally all PPOS needs is your username, which is usually the same as your email address, and your password. Next up is the Cache Drawer Options button. This is where you tell PPOS what type of cache drawer you have installed on your device or PC. You can choose between the three major types: USB to COM, the older serial COM types, or the RJ11 types. If your cache drawer has a cable that looks like a telephone plug at the end, then you have an RJ11 type. If you're not sure, feel free to contact your hardware dealer or IT-related person to help you out. Please note that these cache drawer settings can be set up per workstation in your network. If your cache drawer is a USB to COM type, then simply specify the COM port that is indicated in the Windows Device Manager screen under the Ports, COM and LPT header, then click the Test button to test it. The kicker code options should work in most cases, unless your cache drawer uses a unique set of codes. Those codes will be specified in its user's manual. If you have an RJ11 type cache drawer, simply choose the printer that it's connected to, which is normally a slip printer, then click the Test button. Please note that the RJ11 type drawer will not open if it's not connected to a slip printer, or if the slip printer has an error on it, for example, out of paper. The last button is called General Options. The Make PPOS Portable option enables PPOS to be installed and run from a flash drive or portable media. This is useful when working on PPOS on one computer and then doing some work on it later in the evening on another computer. When you have finished setting up your configuration, you can then click on the Next button. PPOS will now ask you if you want to set up extra users that will use PPOS. As this will be covered in a later video, I will just click on the Next button. This will then save your configuration and take you to the main menu of PPOS. Thank you for watching. This concludes this part of our video tutorial. We recommend that you watch the first video in our series on creating your first invoice.